Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, and everybody else all across the world, welcome to the first ever 18th episode of the Screen and Pitch Project featuring your hosts, MGK and.
Hey, Al.
Right, guys. So, in our Big Six draft series, we've covered Man United, Man City, Liverpool, and Tottenham. We're saving Chelsea and Arsenal for later just because those are our clubs. So, we just want to really, invest some time in that to screw over the other person's preferred Premier League 11 draft for their respective fandom. But now what we're going to do is draft an all-time Premier League 11 for the other 14, basically every non-Big Six club ever. The only caveat is that these players should not have played a single Premier League minute or made a single Premier League appearance for any of the Big Six clubs, which is Arsenal, Chelsea, Man United, Man City, Liverpool, and Tottenham. Right? If they made a Champions League appearance, League Cup, FA Cup, that's fine. But if they set foot in the Premier League for any of these Big Six clubs, they cannot be part of this draft. That's really the only rule. You can stock up on players from a certain era that you really liked if you want. We're not picky about that. But yeah, I think that is pretty much the rules of this draft. So Tayal, over to you to tell us what you think and what our sponsor thinks.
It'll be great to see what our sponsor thinks because our sponsor for this episode is Truth Tones. It's the world's first smart speaker that gives you brutal honesty, whether you ask for it or not. You know how Alexa is all polite and supportive? ChatGPT tells you every idea is brilliant, even if they're terrible. Truth Tones gives you the harsh reality that will free up your mind. It wakes up every morning ready to ruin your day for your own good. Ask it how you look before you get ready to go out for work. It'll let you know that shirt and those pants just don't fit. Ask it why someone left you on red. It will hack into their system, tell them that they typed a reply, thought you weren't important enough, and moved on with their life while you don't. It even tracks your productivity. If you ask it to set an alarm, it'll say, why? Why are you trying to focus? You're going to open Instagram anyway. It's powered by our proprietary AI called Emotional Damage, and it specializes in the kind of honesty your friends are too kind or scared to give you. And just for our listeners, you can unlock Indian Parent Mode for free as a gift for supporting the podcast. So please welcome our sponsor for this episode, Truth Tones.
Man, some harsh reality is going to hit some of these players who probably have never won a league title, courtesy of
Yeah.
Truth Tones. Some of them have, but you know, True Tones won't care. It'll find some chink in their armor. Um, cool. Tayal, do you have any thoughts on how you're going to approach this?
Yeah. So I think there were two. One of the challenges is that the Big Six dominance era kind of correlates to when we watched the Premier League. Well, in the 90s, it was a lot more open, but we just aren't as aware of those players. So it's kind of hard to distinguish how good they were because we didn't watch them personally. And then in this current, like last 25 years of the Premier League, there have been a couple of teams that have really stood out and accomplished more than the rest in the Big Six era. So seeing how we balance between the two, I think, is tricky because there's a lot of, I think, names from the era before we really started watching. Um,
Yeah.
I think there's an obvious number one pick, and then after that, I wonder where things will go.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, guys, without further ado, we'll get started. All right. Rock,
Rock, paper,
paper,
scissors.
scissors, shoot. Okay,
Uh,
cool. I mean, there is an obvious first pick, but for me, there's also an obvious second pick. And yeah, I don't know. You pick first. It's fine.
Oh, interesting. I think you like going second. Um,
Yeah. I feel like when you go second, you try to destroy a lot of plans I have in
that is
mind.
true.
So I don't mind going. I don't mind going second just to prevent that.
Fair enough. Yeah, and I do like wrecking the draft with when I go second.
Yeah.
For with my first pick, I am going to pick the man who scored 260 Premier League goals, who has the record for most goals scored, who led his team to one of the few non-Big Six titles. I'm picking Alan Shearer as the number one pick in this draft. I think the easiest pick here, complete no-brainer, absolutely dominant forward whose goal-scoring tally still hasn't been met, may never be met, unless, I mean, depending on how long Haaland stays. Um, but just an absolute force. Have seen enough of his highlights to see how clinical of a finisher he was. I think, especially in his title-winning season, actually did a lot more apart from just being kind of the classic poacher. Even though I think he was known more of being a poacher. But yeah, just leading Blackburn to a Premier League title, that's just absolutely incredible. And then, of course, being Newcastle's best ever player as well after the transfer. Just an easy no-brainer. Let's get Alan Shearer and then see where this draft goes.
Fair enough, right? I mean, cannon of a right foot, great header of the ball, um, all-time great Premier League striker, right? Um, I am also going to go for an all-time great Premier League striker, but one with a very different disposition to Alan Shearer's gentlemanly nature. This guy would make sure that if you chatted shit, you would get banged. Um, he likes to have a party. It's Jamie Vardy. I love Jamie Vardy. The sass, the pizzazz, the sheer audacity with which he would play, the the insane rile you up energy with which he would play, and then the goals he would score, the crazy pace. Even when he lost the pace, just being intelligent enough to always be someone who you could never count out for Leicester. And of course, the Premier League winning season, the longest goal scoring streak of consecutive games in Premier League history. Um, who knows how many more goals he would have scored had he made it to the top in a more conventional way, right? And his journey is just as inspiring as the man is entertaining to watch. One of the most fun footballers, a player we were linked to after his title-winning season. I was just like, oh, if we sign him, it'll be crazy, and he was just like, no way, no thanks. You know what, man? Fair enough, right? Like, fantastic, fantastic player. So I'm just gonna pick this guy because he was special. One of the most beautiful free kick takers around. A real pioneer in that area of the pitch to do what he was doing. Insane deadly crosses. I don't know, 70s Beatles haircut guy, could bomb up and down the wing and just take beautiful free kicks. It's Leighton Baines at left back.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, like I said, when I started, it's AINES. Put some respect on his name.
So,
uh, I, when I was making my list of players, I couldn't think of too many left backs who kind of approach the sheer imagination capturing element that Leighton Baines had, which made him just just like a joy to watch when he was playing for Everton, and that's why he's here.
yeah. Uh, Jamie Vardy, one of the most fun football players to watch as a neutral fan. Just insane pace, insane right foot cannon, just the attitude, the passion, the kicking of the corner flag. Like I could, like, he's just everything you could want in a player for your team or a neutral to watch. Just and what a story as well, just incredible all over. Leighton Baines was honestly someone I was thinking of for my next pick. I did not think there was any chance you were picking him this early. So I'm kind of stunned because my strategy was to pick Leighton Baines next and kind of take over that position. But I think easily the best left back to not play for a top 16. And honestly, after Ashley Cole, he is in the running for like the best left backs in the Premier League.
Yeah, I
Uh,
just saw he was like three-time Premier League or two-time Premier League Team of the Season, three-time Everton Player of the Year. So
yeah. And to be player of the year from a left back position just kind of says the quality that you have, especially considering for a majority of his career, left backs didn't bomb up and down as much as they do now. But he was definitely a pioneer there. Incredible free kicks, incredible crosser of the ball, just a fantastic fullback, and a bit of a wrench in my plans because he was who I was thinking of picking next.
I'm
Okay.
sorry.
So next, uh, I'm going to pick. There's a few different directions I was thinking about going into, but I'm going to pick one of the first really like fun footballers I remember watching. Um, he was right around when I started watching the Premier League. I just started to kind of hear about it, and then there was this like fantastic street footballer playing for Bolton, who
Okay.
just had the creativity and magic that you just don't see in a lot of other players. And for like a 10-year-old, 12-year-old getting into football, seeing someone whose goal seemed to be like, how do I try and embarrass the other player? It's just something that stayed in my mind even at that young age. So at left mid, I'm going to take JJ Okocha, who played for Bolton and was really one of those classic street street footballers who just would take on an opponent, do rainbow flicks, do like all these tricks, along with kind of Ronaldinho in that time, whose goal was just to kind of how do I make my opponent look stupid, um, and was just part of this like very solid Bolton team in the early 2000s that would always kind of give bigger clubs quite a bit of a challenge. And honestly, he's one of the first footballers I remember, like distinctly remember because of the flair. So I'm picking him next. My next pick is a bit of is again a cult hero. I may move him around a little bit, but he's someone who I think was maybe one of the most clutch players I've ever seen. Someone who was a cult hero for both club and country. He would score in big games for both, and for his height, was an absurdly good header of the ball. And at striker, to pair up with Alan Shearer, I'm taking Tim Cahill from Everton. Just an absolute joy to watch. And his punching of the corner flag again was just an iconic celebration. And I would love watching him score a goal just for the celebration. His ability at under 6 foot to just dominate in the air and just feel like, oh, how did he not win that header? And just rise up against everyone was incredible. And he just had a knack for clutch goals. Just both
Yeah.
club and country, dying moments. You need a clutch goal. Somehow, against all these giants, Tim Cahill's head just rises above, or he just kind of finds that finish, and he could score. I might move him into like an attacking midfield, depending on how the draft goes, because he could play a little deeper as well. But for now, I've added him as a striker. Again, these are two players that I just remember have like fond memories watching. So I'm drafting them for it.
Yeah. I don't remember much of JJ Okocha. I've seen highlights. He looked like basically the Premier League's Ronaldinho. Obviously not as good as Ronaldinho, not the same level of end product, but just like somebody who was playing for the fun of playing. Tim Cahill was in my short lists. I didn't know where to fit him in, but when you started talking about him, you saw me react because I knew whom you were talking about. When you said the guy could leap, I was just like, oh shit. Yeah, I mean, like he would just score out of nowhere, right? If it was a corner, like we talk about Arsenal set pieces now, you'd be like, oh, Everton set piece, like Leighton Baines is going to take the corner and Tim Cahill is going to score. That was kind of their thing, right? Insane, punching the corner flag celebration. Um, yeah, two great picks, right? My next pick is actually someone I thought you were picking when you were describing both of these players because he was a cult hero. He is someone who's come in clutch, especially for club. I've not seen him play much live, but I've seen his highlights. I've seen his his clips. I also know that he is arguably the greatest penalty taker this league has ever seen. He scored 48 out of 49 penalties. He was so good. His nickname was Legod. Um, he's now a conspiracy theorist on like Twitter, but back in the day, he was an absolute baller. I'm going to put him at left mid and move it around a little later, but it is Matt Letizier playing at left mid for me.
Oh yeah, God.
On the right, I am picking someone who I don't know if it's a little early. Actually, yeah, I don't know if it's early. Yeah, I'll leave that for later. I think there's options there. Actually, yeah, let me just check my notes. Sorry. Yeah, let me just do this right. I'm gonna pick. Seamus Coleman for my right back, keeping in with the Everton theme. The longevity, the quality, the reliability. Again, like fullback is one of the hardest positions to play in football. So to hold down a starting berth for a Premier League team for over a decade means you are exceptionally high quality, and that's why I picked Seamus Coleman. I have a lot of options for forward, winger, and midfielder, but I just want to just see how things play out before I make any decisions there, and that's why I've just gone with like a safe pick for now.
Nice. I was thinking about Seamus Coleman as well, just for kind of versatility and also tenure. And it's kind of interesting how many Everton players are being picked already. Um, Matt Letizia, know him more by reputation and now his interesting online presence, but was supposed to be a wizard on the ball, incredible penalty taker. I think the only criticisms were really around his work rate, but apart from that, just supposed to be one of the all-time just creative midfielders who could attack and just a wonderful finisher as well. Okay, for my next picks, there's two players I was thinking about. One was, okay, do I kind of, I think just to complement my my attackers and their ability to head the ball, I'm going to take maybe the greatest free kick taker in the Premier League. It might be a little early for him, but I'm going to take James Ward-Prowse in the midfield. One of the best set piece takers I've ever seen. Just an absolute wizard on the ball. Uh, and has come up with, and just a consistent deliverer of both goals and assists, just can whip it in. And looking at my two attackers and their ability to head the ball, hey, why not get someone who can, if there's ever a free kick in the attacking area, you're going to be so terrified with Ward-Prowse's crosses or going straight for goal. Super entertaining. Honestly, felt like he was keeping his club up just by unleashing wonder goal after wonder goal. So I'm taking James Ward-Prowse. I don't know if it's early or late. It's very hard to tell in this draft.
Yeah.
But I will. I'll take him. And then to kind of give some respect for the only modern title team, which is not a Big Six team, I wanted to take a Leicester player. Um, Out of the Leicester players, unfortunately, a couple ended up playing for Big Six clubs. So I'll take Wes Morgan as the uh, captain of the one team that managed to break the dominance of the Big Six, was the captain and played every single minute of the 2015-16 season. And his just ability, and Leicester was incredibly solid defensively, which kind of allowed them to just hope for a Mahrez to Vardy goal to come up. So I'm going to start off my defense and take Wes Morgan as a center back.
Hey, great pick in Wes Morgan. I think a great shout for the Leicester title-winning team. He was a great. He was the captain. He was an integral part of that. James Ward-Prowse is a great pick. It was not one that I was expecting. But yeah, I think his claim to be possibly the greatest Premier League free kick taker is up there, right? And this is no mean feat when you have Beckham, Ronaldo, Henry, De Bruyne, and all these guys. Um, yeah, I'm really stumped because, like I said, I think the four midfield and attack sort of places I have, I'm just like, oh, there's so many options that I just want to see how things play out now because I'm happy with a lot of them. So I'm just going to keep sort of my powder dry there. And I'm going to continue with the Everton theme by picking Phil Jagielka as one of my centre backs. Um, Longevity, quality, um, that insane goal he scored against Liverpool. I think the half volley from a corner which was cleared. Like there's no there's no questions about how good um, he was, especially for a non Big Six club. Uh, I think I'll just round out. mm, Yeah, like I said, I'm just being a bit of a coward here. Um, but you know what? Fuck it. Um, I'm going to pick UC Jaskelainen for my goalie position. Um, Again, there's like I think plenty of Premier League non-Big Six goalkeepers who have great sort of tenure and ability and so on. Um, Jaskelainen was the Bolton goalkeeper for as long as I remember. Um, Bolton back in the day was kind of like Stoke in the 2010s, and like how people look at I don't know, Burnley under certain management and so on, right? So, and he was the goalkeeper for them. He was basically just a wall at the back for a very strong defensive unit that basically used to beat Arsenal for fun. Let's be honest, back then. And yeah, he was part of the reason because he used to just frustrate our players, and he just seemed like a extremely reliable, high quality goalkeeper who could have played for a bigger club had he chosen to.
Very fair. I think very solid pick, especially in terms of tenure and like being part of those very solid Bolton teams. Phil Jagielka honestly was going to be my center back pair for West Morgan, so kind of a little frustrated that he was taken. But again, very, very solid pick. Um, I might actually, so I'm going to continue this Everton theme. I was looking at some other players, but honestly, I just haven't watched them, so I didn't feel like drafting people who I haven't seen much of. So instead, I'm going to take one of the best ball winners outside of Chelsea as my midfield pairing. I'm going to take Idrissa Gana Gueye, who played for both Villa and Everton, and statistically has been one of the best tacklers and ball winners in Europe. Forget about the Premier League. He spent some time at PSG,
Yeah.
but then has now come back to Everton and hasn't really fallen off the pace. One of the best, just kind of midfield destroyers that you can have, and I think complements my the rest of the team pretty well. And someone who is also like a bit versatile in terms of I can play Met DM as well, and just kind of see how the rest of the team comes through. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, for my next pick, okay. So I've decided that I want the greatest free kick takers on my team. So I'm going to take Dimitri Payet and play him at right mid. Just because,
Oh.
hey, this is a draft where you can go into so many different directions. So let me take players that I genuinely have wowed me while I watch them. And Dimitri Payet, for whatever limitations, and maybe he wasn't the most consistent player ever, was a mind-blowing player to watch in terms of what has scored maybe the most beautiful goal in I've ever
Oh,
seen
that
in the
free
Premier
kick,
League.
the free
Yeah,
kick.
the free
Oh
kick.
yeah.
Uh, and again, just incredible at taking players on, dribbling. So between him and JJ Okocha, defenders are going to be terrified and push back. His output may not be as good as you would have liked, and he did have limitations with his work rate. But man, what an incredibly gifted talent, and incredible footballer to watch.
Yeah, man. So Dimitri Payet was on my short list. I just didn't know if I wanted to pick him over people with more tenure. But for the short time that he was at West Ham, he was one of the most fun players in the Premier League to watch. Just a wonderful player to watch, right? My God, just so much fun. Um, Idrissa Gana Gueye is again like top quality. Um, I'm actually going to continue my. I'm going to continue filling out my defense, and I am going to pick for my final, um, you know, defender is another guy who has an Everton legacy. James Tarkowski is my final centre back. So it's basically all Everton backline, right? And it's I think a big testament to how much I rate David Moyes' teams, Everton teams especially, being hard to break down. Shout out to David Moyes. He can't be the manager because he managed Man United, but you know, like his Everton teams both version 1 and version 2 are like some of the all-time great non Premier League 11 sort of non Premier League Big Six teams of all time, right? And that's why you see that his backline, like basically my backline is maybe his all-time backline. I don't know. All right, now I'm gonna have to start making decisions on players that I really liked, and I just decided that I'm gonna pick players that I truly enjoy um, first, so that I don't feel bad about it. This guy is responsible for Leicester winning the FA Cup. He is now part of an incredibly strong Aston Villa team. So there may be a time when he may not actually be a valid selection for this list because he might go to a Big Six club. But as of now, he hasn't. One of Belgium's finest, one of the Premier League's finest. It's Yuri Telemans in midfield. Just a player that I absolutely love. Um, some people can accuse him of being a little bit slow in terms of like just actual pace, but in terms of on the ball, defensive work, passing, shooting, even just like breaking out of pressure, one of the best players in the league when he's on it, and just a fantastic player to watch.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen that body cam video of Yuri Tillmans in
Yeah, yeah,
midfield.
yeah.
That is just insane. It makes you appreciate the pace and physicality of the sport so much. Just to say, like, oh wow, you really have no time to make a decision, and it's just bam, bam, bam. And it made
And
me
he's one of the
actually like,
slowest guys on the pitch, and he was
yeah,
looking like he was like motoring.
yeah. It really makes you appreciate the Premier League.
Yeah,
Fantastic player. Really, really like Tillmans. Tarkowski, again, I think continuing the theme of those Moyes solid defensive Everton teams that always overachieve because they just wouldn't concede, and they would be kind of in every single game. Can't really criticize any of these picks. But yeah, I really like the Tillmans pick. Definitely feels like he is someone who may end up at a bigger club. Um, since we both love Everton so much, I'm thinking about taking another Evertonian as my left back in Luca Digne. I think to me, at least out of any of the other left back options, he is a cut above, at least out of the people I've seen. I would
yeah,
have to
yeah.
go back to the 90s and try and find someone otherwise, which I decided let me at least pick people who I know, who I have seen and have done well. So Digne was the one who knocked out Leighton Baines from being first choice left back. Of course, that was at the end of Baines' time at Everton, and along with Idrissa Gana Gueye, was the player of the season. And now then he moved to Villa, and he's been, I think, fantastic with Villa um, during his tenure there. And with Unai's team has been kind of they've been, I would say, the best team after the Big Six for the past couple of years. So I think Luca Digne fits this team quite well. Um, for my center back, so when I was looking it up, uh, the center back choice that was being said was like suggested was maybe Gareth Southgate, who I only know as a manager and not really as a center back. But based on reputation, I'm going to pick him as kind of a no nonsense, good steward of the club, was supposed to be a very intelligent player, not the most physically dominant, never kind of the best in the world. But someone who really, I guess this is why he became a manager, was very intelligent on the pitch, could organize a defense, kind of make sure that you have a solid back line. So I'm picking Southgate, who I will be very transparent and say that I have not watched much of.
I mean, neither have I. I was. Um, So, I mean, these were the other guys in my shortlist: Hangeland, Breda Hangeland, Fabrizio
Hmm.
Colocini, Ryan Shawcross, Mark Gahey, who was like,
Mark
I
Gahey
texted
was
you
the
about
one.
Mark Gahey.
Mark
But
Gahey, I think if he plays for a year or two more, he would be my
yeah,
no-brainer pick
fair,
because he's
fair.
genuinely, I think he's one of the best Premier League defenders right now,
Yeah,
but just hasn't done it for long
yeah,
enough.
yeah, no, fair, right? Luca Digne was my pick if I didn't get Leighton Baines. And it's because he's just a really, really good left back who now plays for Villa, I think. So, yeah,
Yeah.
Everton, Villa, just a solid, solid player, right? Like, you can't really knock on Luca Digne's career and ability. I am going to pick a three-time league own winner. Um, another member of an all-time great non Big Six side, which was I think early 2010s Newcastle under Alan Pardew. And this is one of my favorite players from that team, Johan Kabay, to partner with Yuri Tillemans, another great free kick taker, also played for Crystal Palace. So basically won the league with Lille, the Eden Hazard Lille. He was the midfielder then. Came to Newcastle. They finished top four or like fifth or something like that. Great free kicks. Played there for like 3-4 seasons. Went to PSG, won the league twice, came back, played for Crystal Palace. So, decorated career, high quality player, really fun to watch, in my opinion, really intelligent midfielder who could do everything. Now, um, for my right wing or right mid, right, I was holding off on this for a while just because I wanted to see how the dominoes played out. And now that, he's left, it's really a no-brainer. I don't know if he scored over 50 goals in the Premier League yet, but he should have. He is definitely this club's greatest player in the Premier League era. He's currently still in the Premier League. He's the captain of West Ham. So in my right-sided midfield, I will pick Jarrod Bowen.
Yeah, I think Jared Bowen definitely know him for more FPL performance, but he's always been a very good goal scorer. Always pops in, very consistent. Just feels like week in week out, he's someone who performs. Johan Cabaye, haven't don't remember that much of him. Just remember some flashes here and there, but two very solid picks. Okay, we're coming towards the latter part of the draft. Now, the only overlapping position is the manager, but I think there are a couple of different choices which I wouldn't be too unhappy with. So let's see. I think first I'll take uh, for my right back Ricardo Pereira at Leicester. I think someone who had a lot of talent, but then again, just injuries have kind of limited his real impact. But when he did move to Leicester, he did win Player of the Season there. He's signed as a, I mean, he's now spent, I think, 7, 8 years at Leicester, but it's just, you can see how talented he is, and it's just been kind of injuries which has limited his impact. Um, but very, very solid right back. And I think in terms of pure talent, I think he's someone I'm very happy to add to the team. Um, for a goalkeeper, I'm essentially choosing between two goalkeepers, both who that I wanted to again pick players that I've seen a lot of. So was choosing between Jordan Pickford, again, continuing the Everton theme, or Nick Pope, two very different statures in goalies. Nick Pope being, I think, like 5 or 6 inches taller. So I think I will pick, I guess I'll listen to England and pick Jordan Pickford since they seem to like him a little bit more than
Yeah.
Nick Pope. Even though I do think Nick Pope's record is kind of as good. Um, so Pickford, classic English goalkeeper. Always he looks like he's screaming at his defenders, but does pull off some incredibly wonderful saves. I think it's one of those things where maybe it's an advantage being short because it makes your saves look more spectacular. And he has and he's pulled off some incredible saves, including a couple with his face, I believe. So Pickford is my goalie.
Yeah. Ricardo Pereira is a fantastic shout. I completely forgot about him. Great pick. Um, my other option was Matty Cash, but yeah, Ricardo Pereira is a great shout. Pickford was also on my shortlist. Amazing goalkeeper for England. Um, yeah, the stature can work against him, but he never lets it seem to be a problem. Um, Very intense goalie, really strong vocal presence, someone who can really organize that backline both for club and country. So great pick. All right, my final two is the manager and my last attacker, right? So there were a few ways I could have gone. I think now I can name names. Anthony Gordon was somebody I considered. I was just like,
Yep.
oh, on the left wing, and then I can play Letizia as a second striker or whatever. But then I was like, okay, maybe not. Um, Mark Viduka and Yakubu, who scored over 100 Premier League goals. But honestly, that's all I know about them. I don't like, if you ask me how they played, I'd been like, oh, I assume they're good, but I don't really know. So it felt a little, disingenuous to pick them. So I decided to pick a player that I watched a lot of, one that I'm a fan of, as long as he's not playing against Arsenal, and one that actually gives us a lot of trouble when we play against him, and it really annoys me. Um, so Ollie Watkins is my striker. Um, Again, just goals, assists. He can go out wide. He can run the channels. I think it'd be a great compliment for Jamie Vardy. I think again, like just an all-round player who can just do everything and also just be a devastating finisher when required. Um, the guy who scored like the second goal on in like basically there was this insane run we were going on against City 2 seasons ago, and he scored the second goal, which basically killed that game. I went to see that game. It was on my birthday or my birthday weekend, so I particularly dislike what Ollie Watkins did then. But hey, he inevitably scores against us. Um, he's just a deadly striker. He's one of the league's best, and yeah, I mean, what more is there to say about Ollie Watkins? Just a fantastic striker who's gotten better and better every Premier League season that he's been here. So, guys, due to technical difficulties, we can't really type our managers' names out here. We will maybe put a box or something um, when we're talking about this section. So yeah, Ollie Watkins, my striker, gets better and better every season. Scores goals against us, which I don't particularly like, but puts fear into the hearts of at least Arsenal fans for sure. Um, for my manager, I had three people I had shortlisted. Um, I decided to go with the one whose team was the most entertaining. He won Manager of the Season. I just saw this. He actually, I think, got to like two FA Cup finals, which is very impressive, or even three. I don't know. Um, his team had some absolute ballers. One of them is in my team, Yohan Kabay. His team had Hatem Ben Arfa, if you remember. It had the very fun front two of uh, Papis Cisse and Dembaba. It had the the tenacity of Cheikh Tiote in midfield, RIP. Fabrizio Colaccini in the back. And yeah, so my final pick, which is the manager, is Alan Pardew.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I think a fun manager pick. Uh, Definitely known for a more attacking team. Uh, I'm going to choose as my manager as Big Sam Allardyce. Just feels like the most appropriate manager for a draft of this kind.
Yeah,
Someone who's known to grind out results, or someone who's known to rescue teams whenever he's brought in, and he just knows the Premier League better than I think any other manager.
yeah,
Um, in addition to that, I think he was someone who got into like data and was a bit ahead of his times, like when he like 20 years ago. But
yeah,
still, when he was managing Bolton, just building out things that hadn't quite hit the Premier League at that point. But
yeah.
now I think just known for grinding out results. And hey, if you're ever in trouble, just get Big Sam and you'll be fine.
Yeah, he and Sean Dyche were my two sort of other contenders, and I was just like, you know what, I'll just go for the fun manager because I feel like,
Yeah,
why not? No, guys, that is our all-time non-Big Six Premier League draft. I'm sure we missed out on a lot of very good players. Um, the criteria made sure that we didn't pick players like Wilfred Zaha, who has played for Man United. Um, I think we missed out on Gary Speed, who has like 500 plus Premier League appearances, but I don't think neither of us really saw him play. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure we missed out on a lot of players, especially from the 90s and early 2000s. But I think we did a pretty good job. Fairly even team, I think. Much like Tottenham, and yeah. So guys, that's our list. Like, share, subscribe, etc., etc., and we will see you for our next episode.
peace out.